Step quietly into a world older than the pyramids, a place that feels almost out of time, as if it shouldn't exist at all. Göbekli Tepe, located in what is now modern day Turkey. Nearly 11,000 years ago, before cities, before farming, before written language, someone built this. Massive T shaped pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, arranged in carefully constructed circles, carved with animals, foxes, snakes, birds, not etched into the stone, but rising from it. Each one intentional, each one symbolic. These figures, silent guardians of the past, hold within them stories we can only begin to imagine. Then, here's the human story behind it. The people who built this were likely hunter gatherers, not farmers, not city dwellers, not an organized empire. So, how did they gather enough food to support this kind of labor? How did they organize hundreds of people? How did they carve and move stones this large? Some researchers suggest seasonal abundance made it possible. Wild herds roamed nearby, feasting sites hidden at communal gatherings. Others propose periodic assembly, groups traveling from across the region, meeting here for reasons we can only speculate about. There is even evidence of early plant processing, wild grains harvested and prepared, not yet fully domesticated, but perhaps on the threshold of agriculture. Not just because people needed food to survive, but because they needed food to gather, to create. What if our ancestors were far more advanced than we thought? Not technologically, but socially, spiritually. Even the ambiguity of its dating raises more questions than answers. Scholars debate whether this was the work of late hunter gatherers or early Neolithic farmers. The truth remains buried along with much of the site, and that uncertainty only deepens the wonder. Maybe civilization didn't begin with survival. Maybe it began with connection, with ceremony, with shared identity. Göbekli Tepe wasn't built in a stable world. It emerged during the final breaths of the Ice Age. The younger Dias, sudden cold, unpredictable seasons, environmental stress, and then rapid warming, a world changing in real time. Some researchers have explored whether the pillars align with celestial events, perhaps marking solstices and referencing constellations in the night sky. The animals carved in the stone may have mirrored the heavens themselves, mapping the sky and embedding knowledge in stone, not as primitive wanderers, but as careful observers of the cosmos. Then there's the way it was left behind. Göbekli Tepe wasn't simply abandoned. It appears to have been intentionally buried, carefully, deliberately, as if the knowledge was sacred, preserved, protected, reserved. It is a topic that attracts speculation on a grand scale. Coincidentally, it also appears to have drawn attention on a grand scale when it functioned in prehistory. Some have looked to ancient texts for inspiration. The Book of Enoch speaks of watchers, beings who descend and share knowledge, metalworking, tools, architecture, secrets. There is no evidence linking these stories to Göbekli Tepe, and yet it reminds us that humans have always asked big questions about the sky, about knowledge, about what it means to be here. And when you stand among these pillars today, you can't help but feel echoes across time. Stories of a hill, of refuge, of beginnings preserved. In the Bible, Noah finds shelter on a mountain after the flood. Göbekli Tepe rests on a hill too, elevated, overlooking the plains, hidden for millennia. Much of the site remains buried. Only about 5% has been excavated. 95% still sleeps beneath the soil. There are no inscriptions explaining it, no myths carved to tell us why, only silence and stone, and the quiet reminder that long before recorded history, humans were already asking profound questions. Maybe before we built cities, we built meaning. Maybe before we wrote stories, we carved them. And perhaps the most profound question is this: what are we building today that someone thousands of years from now will stand beneath and try to understand?